plaintiff, Shirley Olson, says she doesn't know the defendants. But one day, she and her husband were walking their dogs, and the defendant sped down the street. Shirley claims after she confronted the defendant about speeding, the defendants had her arrested, so she's suing. Defendants Curtis Cockrell and his girlfriend Leanne Kraft say on the day of the incident, both Shirley and her husband threatened them with a gun, and that's why they called the police. They're countersuing Shirley for emotional distress.
Start with you.
I do not know these defendants personally, but I do know that the male defendant used to work at a boatyard that was at the end of the yard of the road where I lived. His wife, girlfriend, she had swore out a warrant on me after an incident that happened back in June of 2017.
What incident was that?
I was walking my dog with my husband. We have 2 dogs. We walk down the road every day. And on this particular day, we were about midway in our walk. And this purple-colored SUV came past us, going to the boatyard. And upon our walk back, the same purple SUV sped by us again. So I yelled at this person, I didn't know who it was, just at the vehicle, to slow down. The vehicle stopped, turned around, and came back towards me, with me and my small dog. So I stepped out into the road to actually make that vehicle stop so I could talk to that person, to ask them why they have to speed up and down this road. I did.
That's a part of the story. Wow.
Anyways, so I motioned for the
Hold
person.
on.
Okay.
You say a woman has sped one way.
Yep.
She was speeding back
Right.
the other way.
That's when I yelled at her.
You were on the sidewalk at
No,
first.
we don't have sidewalks, sir.
All right, well, you weren't in the middle of the street.
No, sir. It's a 2-lane road.
And you jumped out into the street?
No, I didn't jump into it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought you said you went into the street.
I just stepped into her path. I didn't
In the
jump.
street?
Yes, sir.
In the street?
Yes, sir.
However you got there,
Okay.
you got into the middle of the street.
Yes.
A car was speeding in your direction.
No, this is after she turned around. After the vehicle had turned around.
Coming in your direction?
Yes, it was about...
Then yeah, that's what I said. Speeding in your direction. All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, I was coming out of the Fire Marine Service, and I made a right on Smith Road, and I saw these people in the middle of the street with their dogs. I proceeded to slow down and gave them a moment to get out of the road. They wouldn't get out of the road. I went around them in the other lane. I looked in my rearview mirror. Her husband pulls out a gun out of his bag, points it at the vehicle at me, my disabled child, and my 2 other children in the vehicle. I was on the phone with Mr. Cockrell. He advised me to turn around. I turned around. I come back. Mrs. Olson was still in the street. I waited for a minute for her to move. She balled her hands up, banged on my car, and was saying vulgar words in front of me and my kids. I was coming down the driveway at the boatyard, and he was coming up the driveway at the boatyard, and I called the police. The police come out. They got my statements. They left and went to talk to her, and that was...
Your Honor, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happened. She was leaving the boatyard, getting my son, our son, to his physical therapy appointment. Miss Holstein, and I'm assuming her husband, the gentleman that was walking with her, were in the middle of the street. We were on the phone already as she was leaving, having a conversation. She got out in the street. These people wouldn't get out of the street, so she went around them to get to where she had to be. And when she went around them, the gentleman pulled out a pistol, aimed it at the vehicle with my other 2 children in the car. On my way up the driveway, she was coming back down the driveway on the phone, hollering and screaming, hysterical, So I went up to try to see what the problem was with the gentleman. As I turned out in the street and headed up to where the gentleman was walking extremely fast to his house with his animal, she was still in the street, refused to get out of the street. I almost ran her over with my car. She come around to the driver's side of my window, and she had a weapon herself on display for me as she came up to the driver's side of my car.
It was holstered, Your Honor.
What else
But,
did
I
they
mean-
do on the street? They lift it up to show you.
Well, she
It's
already had
it's
hers.
usually a
so-
veiled threat, at least in the
Yes.
street. When you show your weapon, that means I'll bust a cap in you. You keep
Yes.
talking and you keep doing whatever. That's what that means. You're about to get
I
this
asked
now.
her,
You keep talking.
I asked her to move out of the way so I could go speak with him. She said, "No, you don't need to talk to him. You need to talk to me." I said, "No, I need to speak."
That's a lie right there. I mean, I'm
Let
going to
him
stop you
finish.
right there.
I said, "No, I need to speak with him to see what was the reasons for him pulling a weapon and aiming it at, her and my children, because the other two kids in the car were mine.
Did you
from
get a
the
chance to
previous.
speak with him?
No, he actually went home. I never did get to speak with him. Still haven't spoke with him since then. I conversated with Miss Holstein for a brief moment about, what was going on, why did he pull the gun. So I looked at her weapon. I said, "Are you aware that you're not supposed to be threatening somebody with a weapon? I feel threatened at this moment." And I asked her if she had a pistol permit, and she said she did, but she never showed it to me. And I told her I had one as well. But I'm going to put my car in reverse. I'm going to back away and let the authorities handle this at this moment.
Good.
And that's what I did.
Great.
The officers come. They took a statement from us.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to allow the plaintiff to continue. You were describing what happened. And you got into the middle of the street, then what?
I motioned for the person in the vehicle to wind down their window. They cracked it open about, 2, 3 inches. I explained to her that the speed limit on this road is 15 miles an hour, not 50. She said some words. That's when I lifted my shirt. She took off. By this time, I guess she had already been on the phone with her husband, boyfriend, and a minute.
Did you feel threatened or something by violence?
Well, the road is not even a half a mile long. The speed limit is posted at 15
No, I'm
miles an hour.
referring when you all were talking. When she stopped.
The words she
Hold
said
on,
to
ma'am.
me.
Let me describe what you've told me. She stopped voluntarily, rolled down the window as you asked her to. You all began talking. You told her that she was going too fast. She had some words back to you, and she drove away.
That's correct.
Why did you think you needed to show her a weapon?
The words she said to me.
What did she say?
Well, it was her attitude, and I figured that might shut her up.
Oh, there you go. So, there you go. That's what I was trying to get around to. Was it self-defense or intimidation? Now I understand.
There you go.
And what is your lawsuit about?
They had me falsely arrested.
Falsely arrested?
That's correct.
And what is your lawsuit about?
They had me falsely arrested.
Falsely arrested?
That's correct.
You were charged?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have any document regarding the
yes, sir.
charges and what happened with it? What were the result of the charges?
That the motion was granted to null process the case
Okay.
for lack of evidence.
Lack
Well,
of evidence?
Well, the first thing was that she was subpoenaed along with the children.
Let me just back up
Yeah.
and explain the law to you. Well, nolo pros means we don't have enough evidence to prosecute you, but we believe you did it. That's what I do know a little bit about this.
Yes, sir.
I know a little bit about this. Otherwise, they just dismiss it. You don't file a motion. You don't get any motion you don't even get charged unless the officer and the prosecutor believe there's probable cause, meaning that it's more likely than not that you have done what you've been accused of. Malicious prosecution is when someone intentionally lies about someone committing a crime. Well, in this case, the police didn't think it was malicious or a lie. The prosecutor didn't think it was malicious or a lie. Otherwise, they wouldn't have charged you. That's what happened, ma'am. Your claim is dismissed for malicious prosecution. Your counterclaim for emotional distress, you don't even have to tell me. You've told me enough to grant you a judgment. $2,000 for the counterclaimants. Have a good day.
You know you lied. And if you were so scared and everything, why didn't you file a restraining order? Why didn't you?
Because we don't live close to you. There's no need.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you don't work there no more, because your
'cause-
boss was tired of your crap.
Excuse me?
All right.
I worked for a
That's
way
fine.
better place.
Okay.
Left and took a way better job.
Good.